Hi.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I am a graduating senior. I majored in theater, and my minor is in nutrition and health promotion. I'm actually planning on auditioning for Kaiser Permanente's educational theater program.
Very cool.
And I'm wanting to work with eating disorders. My mom has a big history with it. She actually got it right when it came out, and I was struggling with food and my body issues. And the study actually recently came out talking about how eating disorders actually have the highest mortality rate because, you know, it is a mental illness, and you don't know how to handle it really because they can actually their bodies are eating away at themselves, and addressing that is extremely difficult, and you'd have to be able to get a 5150 to commit the person for anybody who is 18 or over.
Oh wow, okay. What I'm kind of wanting to, you know, explore is the connection to what we see portrayed in the media and like with actresses today. Given that you also have, you know, a little bit of a background as an actress, I thought that we could tie it into that. So I'm just wondering, and if you don't feel comfortable personally answering this, that's fine, but
fine.
Have you yourself ever felt pressure from the media or from girls around you?
Being a theater major and graduating and seeing how thin people are. I mean, I used to be pretty heavy, and so I've lost a lot of weight over, 5 years. But
for the right reasons.
Yeah, and it was healthy because actually starving myself didn't work. I actually gained weight, and it wasn't until I addressed how to be healthy did it all start to fall off. And I hit a point where I was like, you know what, if I'm stuck at 154 pounds and in a size 9, I'm going to be a healthy 154 and a size 9.
Yeah.
And quite literally, for every 2 weeks, I would like buy new clothes, and then they wouldn't fit 2 weeks later. So then I just lived in sweats.
Right.
But now that I'm graduating, I started to freak out a little bit. I've actually had panic attacks about this because I'm seeing these girls like around SC, because when I'm at SC, I could like lose 10 pounds and still be okay. Whereas if I'm anywhere else, I'm thin.
Yeah.
And
do you think that comes from like being in Los Angeles?
It comes from being in LA, and everyone is health conscious, but health conscious to the point where it's not healthy sometimes.
Like an obsession, would you say?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I've seen some girls where if I'm having like a long session at the gym, these girls are there before I get there, and they're still there when I leave. Yeah. And like my long session's about an hour, and that's another kind of eating disorder, is like an exercise. It's an obsessive eating, obsessive exercising.
Right.
But
do you think? I mean, I don't know if this is maybe your own personal opinion, but what I'm trying to argue, I guess, is that, you know, seeing these actresses and seeing the magazine covers, like lose weight, lose this, how to look, you know, I think it's kind of distorting our reality of what normal is.
Photoshop and these actresses and models' obsessive needs to be thin doesn't help. They portray being really thin and having a jawline to the point where you have basically no neck, or you see all the females' neck muscles.
Right.
And they're glorifying the fact that these women could gain 10 pounds and still be thin.
Right. Do you think that it's a problem that we don't really address the fact that these women probably are disordered themselves, or do you think that they're kind of portraying this false image and that
they're glorifying it as healthy? They're glorifying them as fit.
Right, and that's kind of the problem, because that's the message that's sent out.
And as somebody who's planning on going into that industry later or soon or whatever I'm going to do with my life,
who knows?
It is kind of frightening, because I want to be able to say, like, I'm not doing that, and you're not going to put me in that position. Right. You're not going to force me to be anorexically thin, and you're not going to Photoshop my thighs to make them look prettier. They did that to Kate Winslet in Titanic, and she flipped it.
And she should, because I think she's a perfect role model, which kind of brings me to my next question. Do you think it helps? I think recently there's kind of been more of a trend, if you want to call it, of women and even young girls coming out with their problems and being very open about talking about them. Do you think it helps?
Like Demi Lovato.
Right,
I'm
good
not
example.
very clear on, like, I didn't watch her or anything, but I do know that she was institutionalized because of her eating disorder.
Yeah, among other things, but
but mainly the eating disorder. And then somebody, when she came to a premiere, they called her fat, and she basically told them to go shove it. She was, you know what, I'm healthy and I've dealt with this, and you're not going to put me back in that position. There is an incredible pressure, and there's an incredible stress in already being in the industry itself. Asking somebody to starve themselves is just an added stressor. And actually, the lack of fat to your brain prevents you from thinking well, and that can actually start your brain deteriorating.
And it changes the chemicals in your brain, if I'm correct.
Exactly.
Do you think it's a good thing that she's coming out with this? And I think I read the other day that it was Diane Keaton came out with issues. You have Portia de Rossi. You have all these people. Do you think that that's going to make a difference in girls, or do you think that it's not enough to kind of
I think
flip
it's great.
around
She's
yeah.
really young, so I'm hoping that she's going to get to the young population and stop it.
She has a big following
from
too,
there.
which makes a difference.
Yeah, and she's got a great voice. She's really talented.
Very
She's actually one of the few in that generation that is actually talented.
Agreed.
But
I won't name any other names though. Yeah.
But it's really interesting because Dove has been pushing this,
their
real
campaign.
women image, which is great. They actually show how Photoshop can alter a normal person and make them look oddly beautiful, but kind of like a Disney character.
It's not
They
themselves.
widen the
It's
eyes,
not-
make them bigger,
Right.
elongate the neck, make it thinner, stuff like that. And they add extensions and crazy the hair. And, we have to be able to get to the root of the problem to prevent it from happening. And even in the 1950s, it was actually the other way around. They wanted women to gain weight, and
Is that really?
yeah, they wanted women to gain weight because you're like, when I was thinner, I couldn't even have friends. Like it's really
So
silly.
how did they advertise that?
They pushed. There was these. It was like diet pills, but the other way around. It was like a bar you would eat to make you gain 10
Oh
pounds.
gosh.
And
So you wouldn't see magazines about
it was
be this
about the
thin.
whole
It was
pin
about
up and curvy.
it was Marilyn Monroe, and it was okay.
Which works for me because I am more of the
body type. I guess.
body type
Okay.
for the 1950s pinup.
Okay.
I am curvy, but I'm fit.
So would
but
you ever lose weight for a role then? How does
I-
that play into it?
I physically don't think I could lose too much more weight and still look healthy.
Okay.
It also
Right.
takes women and men. It's
That's a
also
good
a male
point.
issue to actually stand up for themselves.
Okay. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
No problem.
All right. Thanks.